Welcome. It's Facts You Don't Know. If it's your first time here and you want to find out new facts that will definitely make you smarter and more, well, and first make sure to subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss anything.
Hello, my friends. Today I bring you something that really left me with a lump in my throat when a very dear friend told me about it, and he told me that the story is very famous in that place because it gave me a lot to think about. Stay until the end and listen to it completely, because you won't believe what I'm about to tell you, as it is told to me. According to the locals, everything happened back in 2006. In one of the forest neighborhoods in the city of Maldonado in Uruguay, there was a girl named Juanita. She was 13 years old, and she was a very humble girl who lived in a house almost on the verge of falling. The poor thing had no shoes. In addition, she dressed in rags because she couldn't even fit her own clothes. Since it was said that she went out every morning to earn a living selling flowers, in which she helped her grandfather, since the man could not walk due to his arthritis that he had left. They always watched Juanita, walked very hurriedly to be able to go see the city parks very early. People bought when they passed by, mainly because of the regret they had for the little girl. One morning, they looked at the girl who'd been selling in a park called La Loma. He offered flowers to the people who were sitting on the benches, always slipping away from one or another bad policeman, so that they would not have to say anything to her for believing that she was bothering people who went to the police. She approached a young man who was talking on the cell phone to offer some flowers and said, "Don't bother me. Can't you see I'm talking on the phone? Besides, it's forbidden for people like you to come here to sell to this place." She just stared at him, and very sad, she lowered her head. The man said again, "What are you looking at? I didn't tell you to leave. It's forbidden to sell." He yelled at her so much that he caught the attention of a police officer who was passing by and asked him what was happening. What if there was a problem? The boy said, "This girl is bothering me. Besides, she's getting in my way. It's getting in my way that she's selling every dirty and smelly like that. It's forbidden to sell here. I tell her to go away, but she doesn't pay attention. She won't go away." The officer, annoyed, said to her, "Here again? How many times have I told you? I'm tired of you not paying attention to so many times I've told you." The young man moved from a place not so far away to continue talking on the phone. The girl looked very scared. In addition, she said, "I'm not coming back, I promise you, but let me go. Please don't do anything to me." She was crying. Then the Lord snatched the basket full of flowers from her and threw it on the ground. He began to crush each and every flower, saying, "This is so you learn to obey and understand you cannot walk in this place drinking and disturbing people." The girl attacked in tears and said, "My flowers are not for my grandfather's food. Please don't do that, sir." They say that everybody who was in that place saw what was happening at that moment, but nobody did anything. They simply murmured. But there was a man who passed by. He looked very fine in his clothing, and what he saw was the guard was doing, yelling at the girl. He approached and said, "Oh, what's going on around here?" The boy went ahead to answer, as he had almost finished the call, and said, "This girl comes to bother here almost every day. And not only that, but she looks bad. She's frowned upon in this place with her rags and old shoes. The official lord was going to get her out of here because merchants are not allowed to sell in this place." The man said, No, don't do it. That would be an abuse of authority. Do you like to humiliate this poor girl? Well, I didn't think she's taken anything from you or done you any harm. You're lucky of having been born into a family with good income, and therefore you needed nothing. And surely your parents also made a lot of effort to get to have everything someday. This child wants to earn her daily bread, and people like you do this to her. I'm going to report them." People said that the Lord was very upset. The Lord said to the little girl, "Come, I'll help you pick up the flowers." When they were doing it, he saw that they were badly damaged. The boy and an officer were making fun of the girl, and as the man had gathered the flowers, then the boy claimed, "Now I did not know that these children can do whatever they want. Today, anyone thinks he's a defender of rights. That being the case, we're going to have a lot of stinkers around here." The man seriously replied, "You, boy, would live to be a better person, that even if you had a better social position than this girl, you should not feel better than her. You should not feel superior to her or to anyone, much less humiliate her." The man took the girl aside to the other side of the park, and she continued crying for her flowers. I confess that this story began to give me much more. He was surprised at the good attitude of this person towards the girl when defending her. The truth was not expecting me. But believe me, I keep telling you, the Lord was trying to comfort her. He told her to stop crying, that they were not going to treat her like that again. He asked her for her name and where she lived. The little girl said her name was Juanita, but that everyone called her out of love. Juanita went on to tell him that she lived alone with her grandfather and that she went out to sell in the streets because her grandfather could not move much, and that very early he went to the parks. He asked her, "And are you studying? What about your parents?" The little girl said, "My parents passed away, so I'm left alone with my grandfather. And I do study from time to time, but barely what I sell is enough for food alone, and I don't have any books or shoes or even go to school." The man took pity on what that girl said to him. He had told her then that he was going to pay for all of her flowers. The girl's face was filled with much happiness and joy. She was thanking the Lord and asking her by name. And he said his name was Romero. He told her to accompany him to the plaza, which was nearby, to give him a gift. Then they say that the Lord took her to buy clothes, bought her shoes and several clothes. In addition, he bought several notebooks, pencils, and colors. According to what they say, he simply wanted the girl to continue studying, and if she needed something, to simply look for it. He gave her the address of a building in the city center, since he was the owner there. He said to her before they left the place, "Look, do your best to keep going. Be a great person and make your grandfather very proud. Become a great person. Don't forget it and never stop fighting for your dreams. You are, of course, going to fall on the road, but you know what? You have to get up and continue." Many who were there listened to the great advice he gave the little girl, as she reacted with a hug towards the knight Romero. There was a lady nearby, and she told her that she was making a huge gesture with the girl. Well, not just anyone was going to do that. And what if he had adopted you, or something like that? And he answered no, that he was simply doing something for her, that a person in the same way had helped him. And they told him, "But you don't look like a man to be very wealthy." He replied that all that he has was thanks to a lot of effort and sweat. In the same way that it was reflected in the girl, he said that one comes from a great family. Rather, he had started in an orphanage, and he'll never forget where he came from, nor to humiliate people, but to help them. The lady was surprised and looked at him in admiration. Then the girl and he walked out of that store, hoping that she would fight in her life to overcome herself. Now, if you understand me, why the lump in my throat? We must always remember where we come from and help those who don't have many resources. The people of that place greatly admired what the man did, and the story became very popular in that town. So tell me, did you like the story? Leave us your comments so that we can all read them. Thanks for watching. Please like and share the video in social networks. We'll be right back to you as fast as we can.